Novak Djokovic is out in his home tournament in Serbia in Beograd. But have no doubt, Novak Djokovic definitely wanted to win today. In fact, at one point, he was so desperate to flip things around, he asked them to remove the clay because underneath the clay, just in case things went wrong here, this is in Serbia, of course, there was a hard court hiding. Unfortunately, they weren't able to remove enough clay to get that hard court out there to save Djokovic.
Can they remove this? Have a look at this, please. There's so much clay in the mid court. Can they remove some of that, please? The whole set I've been asking, please. Thank you.
And of course, the loss comes to this guy, the most amazing guy this year, maybe. Outside of Jannik Sinner, the most surprising results we see come from Aslan Karatsev. And I mean, he really came out of nowhere. Who knew about him last year? This is the longest best of 3 sets match of the year, coming in at just under 3.5 hours. Not the best from Djokovic, but a lot of great play from Djokovic, and Karatsev was incredible to overcome him and save 23 out of 28 break point opportunities. Of course, he broke Djokovic 6 times, which helped him come out on top in this one. But without talking about Djokovic anymore, we got to talk about Rafa Nadal. We'll talk about Djokovic some more. But first, this is the moment. Take a look, a message I got from Crunch Time Coaching founder, tennis teaching guru, and expert Peter Freeman. He said to me, "Matt, did you see that last game from Nadal? Amazing. Pencil him in for the French title, barring an injury." This is the point that had Pete raving about Rafa's chances at the French this year.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
So I predicted that Rafa would have one more surprising loss, probably to Tsitsipas in the final here. Now I'm starting to think after today, because Pablo Carreño Busta, he played pretty well. Nadal was awesome. He did blow a 5-1 chance to serve it out in the first set, ends up having to win 6-3. But still, like you saw on that point, the ability to play incredible defense and turn it into offense right away. We saw a lot of that today. Nadal, some of his best stuff we saw in the match, and I think we're going to see even better against Tsitsipas tomorrow. It could be a close match, very likely could be a 3-set match, but now I'm very much leaning towards Rafa winning. I would have said a couple rounds ago that Tsitsipas would take Rafa out right now. Also, one more thing before we hit the music in today's exciting edition of the Coffee Break Tennis Podcast. Pete, after hearing me talk about cryptocurrency, he's not just an expert in tennis instruction, he's also an expert in cryptocurrencies. He said, "Matt, don't invest in the Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a joke." But I got to tell you, look at this dog. I'm crazy about this dog, Pete. So I regret to inform you and everyone else that I've invested my life savings in Dogecoin. Welcome to the Coffee Break Tennis Podcast. I promised you we would be back on Saturday. We'll be back also early next week after Rafa beats Tsitsipas. And we get to see Berrettini and Karatsev in a final in Beograd. Of course, we get some more tennis. Alexander Sasha Zverev, he's back in Munchen next week. So the tennis just keeps rolling on. This is going to be quite a clay court season. Of course, we're going to be making a lot of videos during Geneva in Switzerland, that clay tournament that normally we probably wouldn't care too much about here at Coffee Break Tennis, but it's pretty special this year because Roger Federer is going to be there. Let's talk Djokovic's loss. So look at these stats. Djokovic didn't get quite as many first serves in as Karatsev, but it was pretty close. Both guys getting a lot of first serves in. Karatsev a little better, a little sharper in this very long match on the first serve points, and Djokovic a little bit better on the second serve points. Well, when you're serving over 60% first serves in, there are more first serve points than there are second serve points. So that number means Karatsev wins more points overall. Djokovic said he didn't play his best. I don't know what this bemoaning luck was because I didn't see any quote about that anywhere else. Only apparently the Independent has it. So comment below if you know anything about it. But one thing that jumps out at me in this stat sheet right here, other than the 5 out of 28 break point opportunities there, the conversions, is that aces, double faults. So when Djokovic says he wasn't playing his best, you can believe him because 2 aces on 6 double faults, that is not a typical number from Novak Djokovic. Also, speaking of comments, comment below if you know whatever this quote, this mystery quote about Djokovic bemoaning bad luck. I do have a comment from the last video we did. Put this on the screen. Roger That 20 said, and he's just quoting Rafa from a couple years ago after all this stuff happened. We talked about it in the last video. If you missed it, you can check it out. It's got a picture of Rafa on it on the thumbnail and says still fighting. That's the last video we did a couple days ago. I was saying how in 2019 it was kind of, the same kind of stuff. Rafa's losing the people he normally doesn't lose to. He doesn't practice as much as he used to when he was younger. He's got to let the body recover more than ever now. So he'll be a little rusty when he shows up. And here's Rafa basically explaining that to everyone a couple years ago when, this must have been right before he played Djokovic in the Rome final. Of course, he throws a bagel at Djokovic and beats him, and then he goes on to win the French Open. What happened in Monte Carlo happened. What happened in Barcelona, I've been informed that nobody says Barcelona, so I'm going to say Barcelona, I guess. I like saying Barcelona. Barcelona, whatever happened in Barcelona happened. Whatever happened in Monte Carlo happened. Whatever happened in Madrid happened. Here we are. We're in Rome. If you don't lose, you cannot enjoy the victories. What a great line there from Rafa Nadal. Anyways, just wanted to throw that out there. It was a great comment, so thank you for the nice comment, Roger. Great name too, Roger That 20 with an 8 in there for the Wimbledons. Let's take a look at what Djokovic did say. By the way, I'm very disappointed in Jannik Sinner's match with Tsitsipas. I thought he would have had a real chance. He created some real chances to take control, especially in that second set. I thought he was about to run away with it for a little, and then Tsitsipas just kept finding great serves and some very clutch forehands when he needed it in the biggest moments. And then Sinner did comment on that. But let's talk about what Djokovic said. Djokovic, he was just the better players from ATPTour.com. You never like losing at home, that's for sure, says Novak. It's disappointing. I don't feel so great, but at the same time, I have to congratulate Karatsev, who played very bravely. And that's a great word for how Karatsev played. It was, I don't know how many times I said, wow, or oh my God, or I can't believe that. That's incredible. Just blown away by some of the gets. It's funny because Karatsev, watching him play, he's kind of, we talked about this at the Australian Open too. It's kind of similar to Djokovic, the way he plays. He can hit some incredible returns of serve like Djokovic. I don't think he's as good of a returner as Djokovic, but he comes up with some great returns. He can step in and take that backhand on the rise very early, which can be very nice on clay. It's something, we see Djokovic is able to do against Rafa when he is able to beat him on the clay. That doesn't happen too often, but it does happen sometimes. But as Djokovic says here, whenever he needed to come up with the best shots, he did. Congratulations to him. Awesome performance from his side. Now, when Djokovic talks about his side and what's going on with his game, and we got to believe him, I don't think he played his very best, but at times he definitely was playing something close to his best. And he says it here. From my side, I played on quite a low level, in my opinion. I had some flashes of good quality tennis. I was fighting. That is a positive. He did have flashes that looked like, some of his best stuff. But Karatsev, when Djokovic started playing good, in the second set, Karatsev went away a little bit, and he talked about that too when he was talking about how the match went from his perspective. But in the third set, especially when it was time to close it down, if Djokovic would bring some great tennis, sometimes Karatsev would step up very bravely, as Djokovic says, and bring something even better. It was really impressive stuff. Some of the gets that these guys made were just incredible, kind of like that point I showed you from Rafa. The defense and offense that you can see all featured on clay. I mean, that's why we like to watch clay. Anyways, what has he said? That was a positive that he was fighting. I had flashes of good quality tennis. Djokovic says, I was really trying all the way. The crowd was great. They carried me, lifted me up, blah, 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 blah. Because of them, I won the second set. Unfortunately, in the third, Karatsev was just the better player in decisive moments. I had my chances, but that is sport. Yeah, it is. They asked him why he gave him a thumbs up at the end of the match. And he said, Karatsev showed a lot of courage. That's why I gave him the thumbs up. I felt like he deserved to win. Once the final point is done, there's never bad blood. We're rivals, but I don't hate anybody. I can't be upset with him if he beat me. I have to be upset with myself and question, why did I lose the match? Whoever beats me deserves the credit, and I give him that. Well, why Djokovic lost the match? Karatsev is for real, one. That's something we learned from this match. I mean, we already knew it. You know, he like I said, he kind of like Djokovic. That's why he did really well at the Australian Open this year, Karatsev. He won in Dubai, a place where Djokovic does very well. And the way he fought today was Djokovic-like. The way he never gave up. It was pretty impressive stuff. So seeing a match like this now, this just solidifies the whole thing for the year. Karatsev is here to stay. This is a guy who belongs in the top 10. And a big win, biggest win of his career, as he said. So why did Djokovic lose? One, because Karatsev is the real deal and is dangerous. You know, maybe at the Australian Open, Djokovic is not going to be fearing the danger of Karatsev quite as much. But, you know, put him on clay. Karatsev, a lot of the wins he did last year when people weren't talking about him yet, but you might have heard during his Australian Open run, the commentators would constantly say how, well, you know, Karatsev went on a big run on the Challenger Tour last year, and I believe a lot of those wins came on clay. So Karatsev, he's going to be a factor everywhere. We'll see how he does on grass. I don't know how he's going to be on grass. That's kind of a question mark. But hard courts, slow courts, medium courts, faster courts, clay courts, Karatsev is going to be a factor. The other big factor is Djokovic is obviously not at his best yet, just like Rafa. And these guys, I'm sure they're going to find it in time for the French Open. Anyways, let's move on to, I got to talk about Sinner and Tsitsipas real quick. Tsitsipas said something kind of interesting. Get to that next. But first, Jannik Sinner, he'll say it for me. It was a very disappointing. For the Sinner fans like myself, I was really looking forward to this match. Woke up early to see this match from the start. And Sinner created some real opportunities, but he wasted them. He really did. And part of that is Tsitsipas he's really finding it right now. And clay is a good place for Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas needs a little time. We know that he's tried to, you know, the way you see Federer return a lot of serves by stepping in and blocking it, almost like a volley. And we've seen Tsitsipas try to do that, and it's not his strong suit, right? The return of serve is, it's nice because he takes a full swing on return of serve because he doesn't like to block. You know, think of Stan Wawrinka. He does a lot of the blocking returns too. But on a slower court, Tsitsipas really can swing away on every return, so I think that's a big part of why he likes the clay so much. He's very comfortable moving on the clay. He's good at net, and you might think, on a slower court, you don't go to the net, but actually it's really nice to go to the net on clay, as we saw in 2019 from the run at Roland Garros with Roger Federer is able to go to the net quite a bit. And it's just easy to wrong foot people on clay because it's slippery. It's not like on a hard court where you can change direction a lot easier than on clay. So if you get someone out of position and go to net, you can take enough time away from them on the clay where they really have no chance to recover and get to the next ball. So I think that's another thing that's working really well for Tsitsipas, and it helped him in his win today. Listen to what Jannik Sinner said. He said, "I'm disappointed. I was unable to express my best tennis. I feel that all of these experiences are essential to help me improve. Today I got the feeling that he, Tsitsipas, knew exactly what to do in the crucial moments of the match." And that was really it. Tsitsipas nowhere near his best either, but in big moments, he came up with a great shot. He came up with a little bit of his best when he really needed it. And that's what we've seen from the big three over the last couple decades that have helped make them so great, helped them win so much. Tsitsipas doesn't think that's what's in the cards for the future for him and his generation, though. In our generation, there will be a big 6 or a big 8, and it'll be more exciting. That's a prediction from Steph Tsitsipas. I don't know. I think we're still going to have like 3 or 4 guys doing most of the winning. Maybe there'll be a big 6 or a big 8, but that's kind of because of the way the court speeds are all so similar. Everything is medium slow on the ATP Tour pretty much. The Australian Open is a lot faster now, but because of the courts all being so similar, I think that's going to mean that we're going to have a few guys who are able to just get on a roll and do most of the winning. Still, I don't think they're going to be like the big 3 and all win 20-plus majors, but who knows? Rafa himself said we might have one guy who's going to come along soon and do it better than the 3 of us. Just like everyone thought Pete Sampras's record of 14 majors would never be passed, and in a relatively short time, 3 guys come and pass it. And Rafa was saying, we could have a guy right now, right under our noses, who's going to do the same thing, and he's going to be even better. So, I don't know. Anything could be possible. That's why this is an exciting time. Just because, it's such a mystery after seeing what we're used to and knowing, well, something very different has to come now. It is a very exciting time in tennis. Plus, it's also exciting to see how much longer these guys can hang on, the big three. Anyways, Tsitsipas says, I think our generation is going to be different. We've gotten used to talking and reading the big three all the time, and I feel like we're going to be the big six or the big eight. It's going to be more fascinating. It's going to be a kind of revolution. It wouldn't be Tsitsipas if it didn't get a little weird here. It's going to be a revolution to have a great number of players competing with each other. It'll be more exciting for the viewer. What else did he say? It is without a doubt a key point he added on the importance of his belief when facing the big three. Every time I go out to play, I think I can do better because I trust the process of improving as a player. Although it's painful and costly, I like to evolve to entertain fans because that's what they come to see you for. And, of course, he plays Rafa Nadal tomorrow. We'll see if he's going to be able to evolve and improve in his process and beat Nadal again. Don't forget, comes back down 2 sets to love at the Australian Open. That's the last time they play. So this is a pretty exciting matchup that we're going to have tomorrow. Matteo Berrettini, a couple things on him really quick. He lost a second set that looked like he was way in control of against Taro Daniel. He ends up winning the third set 6-0, so very impressive from Berrettini. He took care of business here. I was losing faith in the guy saying this is not a true top 10 player anymore, but he stepped up, and we'll see how he does against Karatsev. Maybe Karatsev is going to be a little tired, although Berrettini was out there playing quite a bit, and he hasn't played nearly as much as Karatsev, so I'm going to say Karatsev wins. I'm going to say Nadal wins in 3 sets. I'm going to say Karatsev maybe in 2 sets, depending how he recovers after going up against the great Novak Djokovic. And I think, by the way, the great Novak Djokovic is going to be okay. I don't think this loss is going to set him back too much. It really says less to me about Djokovic and more about how good Karatsev is and how much we can expect to see from him, because he is the real deal. All right, let's go back to Nadal, and then we'll get out of here. I'm going to keep today's show kind of short, but to me, we're on clay, so the biggest story of all is Rafa Nadal. I guess the biggest story today is Djokovic losing, but I care more about where Rafa is and where he's going to be as we get closer and closer to the French, because the biggest story of the year is Rafa going to pass Roger Federer in the slam count. And here we go. Let's look at these stats. Like I said, Busta played pretty well. 18 winners over 14 unforced errors. That's only 1 less winner than Rafa had, only 4 more errors. The big statistic that's missing from here is forced errors, which Rafa did a lot of, right? Rafa's very good at that. He'll hit a forehand so big, so explosive off the clay that when you miss, it's not your fault. It's Rafa. It's just Rafa. So for a lot of forced errors from Busta caused by the great Rafael Nadal. A lot of talk going around. And I wanted to lead today's show with this. It's such a great little clip. Maybe I'll throw it in the next show, especially if Rafa wins, because it's pretty funny. I'll use it another time. I'm going to save it in my back pocket. But a lot of talk about Rafa going to the practice courts after he won against Cam Norrie the other day. He went straight to the practice courts. And, a lot of people are freaking out on the Raw fan side. But look at this. This is from Razuls. He makes some really cool highlight videos. He's a big Federer fan. And Barcelona posted this clip of Rafa practicing after the win. So they say, number 1, training. Number 2, beats Norrie. Number 3, back to training. This is Rafa Nadal. And Razuls, he put this up and he said, this is precisely the mindset and willingness to go through the hard work that will, unfortunately for Federer fans, lead to Rafa lifting the trophy at the French this year. Again, he's far from being able to pull it off in his current shape, and he obviously knows it. Well, if the French Open started tomorrow, I think Rafa might already be there and ready to win it. But you're right, Razuls. I read this to you because there's a good point here in saying that Rafa, I guess the best way to phrase it is for Rafa, failure on clay especially. Failure is not an option. Hit the music, we're going to get out of here, and Rafa is going to put in the hard work. It is a pretty incredible thing to see him win like he did, because Cam Norrie was starting to come back. It was, he's blowing him away. Rafa was blowing him away. I'll show you that clip next time where Rafa explains what happened with Cam Norrie. It's pretty funny. But Rafa was blowing him away, and then he let up just a little, and Rafa knows better than anyone else you cannot let up, because, maybe with Cam Norrie, you let up, you lose it for a little bit, and you still win. But Rafa's not trying to beat Cam Norrie. He's trying to beat the very best players in the world on clay, and he knows that's what he may have to do at the French, depending on how easy or tough his draw is. And that's why he's out there on the practice courts before and after a match. Expect to see Rafa kick it up to an even higher level. If Tsitsipas is going to win tomorrow, well, if he does pull it off, he's going to have to play really well, and it's going to be a great sign for his chances. Because like I was saying in the last show, maybe Tsitsipas is our Prince of Clay. Not impossible for that guy to win the French Open this year. But tomorrow, we'll learn a little bit more about how that's all going to play out because Rafa Nadal very much wants to be the guy that wins it. See ya!